head, but down in Morgan City, got that beautiful park with the Carolyn bells that rings. He's gonna come to me in a minute.
He used to be the mayor.
There's
Brunel,
exactly. There are a bunch of bald eagles who nest all in that park. Beautiful to watch them fly around. How about this? We got Le Bdthurs0623 next Wednesday, June 29th from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. over at Le Vieux Village. Boy, I say that good now. I learned. On East Landry Street here in Opelousas is what they call the old Whiteville Schoolhouse. Come get coffee. Don't cost you nothing. You learn how to talk French as good as Bobby Dupré. 948-5227.
Ah, un petit peu. Je comprends tout quelque chose. Moi, j'ai force pour parler, mais je peux te faire comprendre.
Yeah.
Et j'aime la langue française. Quand tu me vois quelque place parler quelques mots avec moi, ça me fait bien coton.
I think he said he bought a horse in Jennings.
Oh, I claimed the horse.
You did? Well,
I claimed the horse last Friday night, and it didn't make it back to the paddock. Crippled during the race. A lot of problems.
You still have it?
People.
Once you claim it, you claim it, huh?
Well, yeah, I paid. When the gate opens, it's your horse.
It's yours.
That's right. That's one of those
so
examples.
Now what?
So what? I lost $5,000. That's what. But they had claimed mine Wednesday night for $4,000. So as far as money goes, I'm only out $1,000. But I also lost a good horse that was claimed from me.
What we'll do is once a month, you just give me $1,000 and say I'm not going to claim nothing this month. I'll be okay.
That would work out
It'd be the same.
It would be about the same. What about this place here? I had never heard of it, but it was shown in the newspaper. They were working punchers, a big boxing sign. Yeah. And I'll have to try them out. They're on 3rd Street, downtown, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
That's that.
I'm going to leave that out.
Welcome back, Kiss. Hello. How about, what else I had to say before? Oh, let's show some photos right now before we give up. I only got a handful to show. My grandmother, Miss Esther Smith Stanford, one of the Smiths from Church Point, married a Stanford from Church Point, and they settled. My grandfather was Thomas Stanford, had passed away back in the 70s. But we had her 89th birthday over at my sister's house in Grand Prairie, and that is 5 generations right there. It's my grandmother, Miss Esther Stanford, my mother, Janice Stanford Mesh, my sister, Debbie Gitro Gilry, I'll get it out, my niece, Nicole Norris, and then my great niece, Maggie. So 5 generations, all girls right there in one photo. And I'm going to show a couple other photos. We got 47 of the direct descendants of my grandmother. That's not spouses or nothing. These are just her direct blood descendants, all in one photo together at my sister's. Quite a few, just short of 50, I think is what we had. These are just the grandkids, me and the I said, let's get the grandkids for a picture. Then I said, wait a minute, who's all these old people? Because we used to be kids, going in. And that's my mother, my Uncle Fuzzy Stanford, my Aunt Bobby Stanford, and my grandmother. And of course, their brother, Ben Stanford, who was a big horseman, passed away just a few years back. So just to show everybody, and that's all my mother's clan with all my kids and everybody else.
Beautiful
so we had a great time. And that's the oldest grandkid and the youngest grandkid. You're talking about a difference of, I hate to embarrass my sister. Let's say almost 40 years.
She looks younger than you
she looks better than me. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
and my brother and his 5 generations as well with Aaron and Noah. And that's all the photos I got. But we had a great time. Happy birthday, Mom Stanford. And how about happy birthday to my little boy who just turned 14, Andrew over. He'll be a freshman at OC, and he'll be on the soccer team. So watch for him.
While I was in Marksville on Tuesday afternoon, I went over to visit with Joe Elder. That's Frankie Elder's twin brother.
Who we always call Little Joe.
Yeah, Little Joe, because his daddy was Mr. Joe.
Right.
And got there, and unfortunately, he was under the weather. He had been to the doctor, undergoing several tests, and it was just worn out. And by the time I got there, he had just gone. He was resting, and I said, "No, don't wake him. I'll make another trip." I wanted to see him because he's always asking how I'm doing. And of course, his son Dougie, who's also the son of Tina Dukas Palace Cafe, going back to her grandmother and grandfather's days, he was nice enough to bring me into the new home that Joe is building in Marksville. He's living in a double wide right now temporarily on the same property. Beautiful piece of property.
No, the new house he's built, I'm sure it don't have some good looking lumber.
It's all wood except the metal roof. Yeah. And it's going to be pretty much a duplication of the home he had built in Port Barre.
Which is a gorgeous
when
place.
He was married to my niece, Andre Dupre, John and Norma Lee's daughter, my godchild. And anyhow, I just want to thank Dougie. The new home's going to be beautiful. We walked through the whole place, and it's beautiful lumber. And of course, that's been his business all his life, and still is his business.
This Thursday night, 7 p.m., go to Opelousas Little Theater. They're going to do a whole production, all with the summer campers there. So if you go by at 7, I'm not sure what all they're doing, but go by and have a good time. 7 p.m. this Thursday next to Donald Gardner Stadium.
While I was at Fresh Catch restaurant and speaking with Jonathan Knoll, the owner, he asked if we had seen the little short video that was taken about Avoyelles Parish, and the title of it is To Live and Die in Avoyelles Parish. Very interesting. You can go to your computer, you can bring it up, and it's a movie that was done by a professional, you could tell, but I mean, it's all about the Cajun way of life, and if I'm not going to say too much about it, just try to get to see it. To Live and Die in Avoyelles Parish. And of course, there's a gentleman there that writes for the newspaper there, and he does a very, very good job, and he's got some good articles right now, and it's Avoyelles Today is the name of the
newspaper. And they're online too. You can read some of it online.
Yeah, online. Mr. Jim Bradshaw, I think, is the author of some nice articles. In fact, one of them is how Acadia was able to break away from St. Landry Parish years ago. I'm not going to tell you more than that.
They just had the anniversary for the parish breaking up, I think, in the last week or so, like 100 years.
Yep.
Or 100 and some
very,
years.
very interesting article. And then another one is about the name of Chautauqua and what it means. And they're talking about Chautauqua, the little town in Evangeline Parish, near Mamou, between Mamou and Eunice there. So anyhow, I'm not going to tell you more about them. Go to Avoyelles Today, and you're going to find some very interesting articles.
How about this? New News this weekend. You know, the old New News burned down, but they're in the old Singleton Lumber Building when you're going into Arnaville from Grand Coteau, from the I-49, right there on the old Catawba Highway. $5 admission, kids 12 and under get in free, food and soft drinks available. You can bring your own libation if you want to add something to that. But they're going to have bands all weekend. It's going to be Creole accordionist Mary Jane Broussard is going to be playing. She does a tremendous job playing there, and that's this Sunday, 2 p.m. Go by.
Last week we spoke about the untimely death of a young boy, Dylan James Royer, age 9, and I knew the grandfather, Spike Morgan, and I got up. You know, I waited till Sunday. We had planned, Vic and I had planned on going to the wake Thursday morning prior to the funeral. And we had company that came in, so that delayed us. But Sunday afternoon, I said, you know what, I need to call Spike and just tell him how we all upset, you know, and untimely death and all. And I did speak with him, and he was glad that I called and just kind of updated me on how the family's taking it and all. And they are planning on having a fundraiser honoring this young
in his
grandson
memory,
of Spike, and
Dylan James Royer.
Right, and he says the money raised would go to our charity, which is the Cerebral Palsy Clinic here in Opelousas, which couldn't be for a better cause.
It's a beautiful gift, and while showing all those pictures of all those kids with my grandmother's birthday, you saw little Jack was in the middle of the pictures in the wheelchair too. That's one of her great grandchildren who's gotten a lot of help with the Cerebral Palsy Clinic. So you help a lot of people. You don't realize the people that you can help. It's a good cause.
Sunrise at the Downs, the mid-year report and legislative update, co-hosted by the Opelousas St. Landry Chamber of Commerce, Evangeline Downs Racetrack, and Bodemuller the Printer. And this is going to take place Monday, July the 18th, and breakfast will be served at 7:30. And then right after that, the various elected officials on the state level, the representatives and senators, are debriefed, I guess you could say, about what took place. They tell us, and then questions and answer can follow, and it's a real good event. So if you're interested in going, please contact the chamber office, and you can call them at 942-2 2684. How about that? And it's a nice event. You and I have been a number of times, and I'm sure we'll try to make it again. Spotlighted Chamber Members of the Month, Miss Gwen Daughter. She originally worked at the Chamber office.
That's correct.
And now she's established Louisiana Network, which is a computer company aiding local businesses and individuals.
A lot of high-speed digital lines with her husband, Clyde.
Right. And Paula Mills is in the picture, of course, LHC. They're always involved in everything going on in the community.
There's one that we missed last month I wanted to get to, too, and I ran into him. Verbus LaFleur, the electrician, ran into him, and he says, don't forget that this month I'm on the spotlight of chamber members. So if you're looking for good electrical work as well, Verbus LaFleur.
Well, I didn't see that. I apologize, Verbus.
Who's also named after, for all the Verbus LaFleur, of course, that we do a lot of promotions for.
That was
with
his
the monument.
uncle.
That was his uncle he was named after. So congratulations to him being spotlighted last month.
That fire that took place at that chemical company really
almost got our monkeys.
Almost, that's right.
That's not what they say. The primates almost got the primates.
And of course, our own local Jeff Quibido has a contract, and he hauls these primates all over the United States.
I'm sure if there was any kind of risk for him.
I'm sure
he'd have been the guy who would have to evacuate
them, and probably had to evacuate some.
I'm sure.
There could be some after effects taking place. They didn't expect any, but there could be some. So you just never know today what's going on in your backyard. They never expected anything like that.
No. You saw the guy was in the paper this week about he and his family that just shocked him. I mean, he's been working there a long time. They've never had any kind of incident.
And that was his role. He's
the guy to watch when the thing when it blows up. He's the guy who has to work 24/7.
Yeah, and it just stayed there till everybody was, and then they had to get in these experts to come in and stop the fire, and then after that.
And you can't put water on it because those plastics and all that kind of stuff. Water's the worst thing. It excites the fire, so they have to let some of it burn off.
This is we're talking about your old hometown here in Port Barre. They're going to have a camp meeting at the Global House of Praise Christian Refuge Center in Port Barre. Kate McVeigh Ministries, she'll be there on June the 30th. That's next weekend at 7 p.m. That's a Thursday night. It's not the weekend. It's a Thursday night. And she comes from Warren, Michigan. And, of course, Reverend Bobby Gradney, our longtime friend, is inviting everybody to come and participate.
On Pacific Street, or what we call the OG track, if you're old-time Port Barre.
There you go.
And we're down to the end, folks. Thank you all again this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for watching. Tell a friend about it, and anytime you have something of interest and you'd like to pass it on to us, please do so. Please feel free. Very seldom do we ever have any guests. It would slow us up quite a bit. Occasionally we have, but it's not very often. So closing we try to close the program with this thought in mind. Please attend the church of your choice this weekend, and a little prayer or thought. Heavenly Father, grant me the true spirit of goodwill toward all. Let me be ever ready to carry out your will and to come to the aid of all I encounter on this earthly pilgrimage. Thanks for viewing. Thank you, Andrew, for your assistance.
Thank you.